What if the chains that once felt like silk turned into iron bars overnight? What if the thrill of surrender, the rush of letting go, left you not breathless with ecstasy, but gasping for air in a room you can't remember how to leave? Picture this. It's a quiet afternoon in a house that smells like lavender candles and unspoken secrets, and you're on your knees in the bathroom, the cool tile biting into your skin as your stomach heaves. Vomit splatters the porcelain like shattered glass, sharp, unforgiving. Your hands tremble on the sink's edge, knuckles white, heart pounding like a war drum in your chest. In 3 hours, he'll walk through that door, his key turning with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. And you'll smile, because that's what good girls do. But inside, Christina, you're screaming for the girl you were before the collars and contracts, before the world blurred into a haze of his commands and your compliance. What happens when love tastes like regret? What if tonight, over a holiday weekend stretched out like an endless night, you finally crack? I remember the exact moment it started feeling wrong. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. I was 20, fresh out of college, wide-eyed, and wandering through life like a leaf, caught in a current I couldn't control. Autism and ADHD made the world a kaleidoscope of chaos. Too many sounds, too many lights, too many unspoken rules that everyone else seemed to decode effortlessly. I craved structure, something solid to hold on to, like a map in a storm. That's when I met him, Dr. Elias Grant, 42, with salt and pepper hair that framed his face, like a frame around a masterpiece, and eyes that saw right through you, dissecting your soul with a glance. He was a cardiologist, the kind who saves lives in operating rooms that reek of antiseptic and desperation, then commutes 2 hours home to our suburban nest in the hills outside Seattle. White coat by day, dark desires by night. We locked eyes at a kink conference. Me, the curious newbie in a sea of leather and lace. Him, the seasoned dom holding court like he owned the shadows. Christina, he said, his voice low and steady, wrapping around my name like velvet rope. You look like you're searching for more than just a scene. I laughed it off, nervous, my fingers twisting the hem of my black dress, the one I'd bought on a whim, hoping it made me look bold. But he was right. I dipped my toes into BDSM chats online, drawn to the clarity of roles, the contracts that spelled out every expectation. No guesswork, no mind reading, just surrender. And God, it felt safe. We talked for hours that night, his words painting pictures of trust, of power exchanged like currency. By the end of the week, after one tentative kiss that tasted like forbidden fruit, I was his. Virgin no more, sub in full bloom. It escalated like wildfire. Training sessions in dimly lit rooms, his hands guiding me into positions I'd only fantasized about, my body awakening to sensations that blurred pain and pleasure into something holy. Our home became a sanctuary of sorts, a 2-story craftsman with bay windows overlooking evergreens that whispered secrets in the wind. The kitchen gleamed with marble counters where we'd share coffee in the mornings, if he wasn't already gone by dawn. Upstairs, my room, more like a converted office with a plush rug, a 4-poster bed draped in silk sheets, and walls lined with books on submission and self-discovery. But it wasn't just a play space. It was life. He handled the finances, doling out allowances via that Cash App card with my name etched on it like a child's toy. It's for your safety, pet, he'd murmur, his fingers tracing my collar. A delicate silver chain I never took off. My meds. He approved them, portioned them out like communion wafers, ensuring my ADHD fog didn't swallow me whole. And health. Oh, the irony. He monitored my vitals like one of his patients. Blood pressure cuffs and heart rate apps synced to his phone. I worked remotely as a graphic designer. My annual salary, a vague number floating in my mind. Bi-weekly checks deposited into an account I rarely checked. Why bother? He was the anchor. In those early days, it was intoxicating. COVID hit like a thief in the night, locking us in together, and our dynamic deepened into something primal. I went from playful brat, teasing him with sly glances and forgotten rules, to full-time slave, collared in every sense. It was campy, almost theatrical. The rituals, the protocols, the way he'd command me to kneel by the door when he returned. Exhausted from 16-hour shifts, I'd massage his feet, listen to tales of aortic aneurysms and midnight codes, feeling like his queen in chains. Race crept in like a shadow I tried to ignore. I'm black, curves soft where the world demands sharp edges, skin like warm mahogany that glowed under his gaze. All my boyfriends, Elias included, white, older, drawn to me like a moth to flame. Exotic. One ex had called it, and the word still burned. Someone at a party once leaned in, breath hot with gin. That's what you get for dating white men, girl. They take and take. I laughed then, but now it echoes. Friends? What friends? The ones I had drifted away, uncomfortable with my choices, or maybe with me. The girl who cancelled plans because Sir needs me. Elias's previous sub, Lena, visited once. A ghost in fishnets, her eyes hollow as she sipped tea, and warned me, in coded whispers, about the long nights. It's addictive, Christina, the high. But the crash? I waved it off. We were different. I was neurodivergent, wired for this clarity. No safe words needed. Consent was in the contracts. The aftercare that left me curled in his arms, fog lifting like morning mist. Or so I thought. 3 years blurred into 5, then 7. I'm 30 now, staring down a holiday weekend. Labor Day. The air thick with barbecue smoke from neighbors' yards. Kids shrieking in the distance. We've talked marriage. Rings glinting in his drawer, like promises. And kids. God, kids. Off the pill, he said last week, his voice tender over takeout sushi. Imagine it, a little us. I nodded, smiling through the nausea that had nothing to do with hormones. But as the words hung there, something fractured. My youth, sold, bartered in scenes that left me shivering on sweat-damp sheets. Body spent while he showered and left for another shift. His career reigned supreme. Conferences in Boston, emergencies that pulled him away at 2 a.m. when we had time, rare. Stolen weekends like this. He claimed me utterly, pushing until the world faded to black. My mind a whirlwind of endorphins and exhaustion. In theory, bliss. In reality, a cage disguised as comfort. I wipe my mouth, rinse the sink, the water rushing like accusations. The clock ticks. 2 hours, 58 minutes. My reflection stares back. Nails freshly done in crimson polish he chose. Hair braided in cornrows that swing like pendulums. I look put together, but inside the fog thickens. Autism screams for routine. ADHD scatters my thoughts like confetti. Without his structure, who'd I be? Who am I without the anchor? I pace the living room, sunlight slanting through blinds like prison bars, fingers tracing the edge of a photo frame. Us at a gala, me in emerald silk clinging to his arm, his smile proud. But whose eyes are those in the mirror? Mine, hollow and haunted. The doorbell rings. Early delivery? No, it's the neighbor Mrs. Hale, with a plate of cookies, her smile all teeth. For the holiday, dear, you two lovebirds got plans. I force a grin, clutching the door like a lifeline. Oh, you know, relaxing. She lingers, eyes flicking to my collar, peeking above my sweater. Take care, Christina. You look tired. The door clicks shut, and the tears come hot and fast. Tired, that's one word. Lost is another. Regret, that's the scream building in my chest. As the afternoon drags, memories flood like a breached dam. That first week, losing my virginity on silk sheets that smelled of his cologne, his whispers guiding me through the unknown. Fun, electric, my body a canvas, his brush strokes bold, but fast, lightning fast. Brat to slave in months, COVID, our cruel catalyst. No breaks, no safe words. Why would we need them? It was love, wasn't it? Yet now, with a ring on the horizon and a baby in the cards, the canvas cracks. A child in this? Witness to rituals that bind me tighter than any chain. No, the word echoes, unfamiliar on my tongue. 1 hour left. I sink to the couch, phone in hand, his text, loving check-ins. Be ready, pet. I've missed you. My thumb hovers over Lena's number, the ex-sub who faded into obscurity. What would she say? What if I called? The fog swirls, curiosity gnawing. What if this weekend isn't surrender, but salvation? The phone buzzes in my palm like a trapped hornet, Lena's name flashing like a warning light on a dashboard. My thumb hovers, heart slamming against my ribs. Call or crumble. What if her voice pulls the thread, unraveling everything I've knotted together these past years? I set it down, screen dark, and drift to the window, pressing my forehead against the cool glass. Outside, the neighborhood hums with normalcy. A dad tossing a frisbee to his golden retriever, laughter slicing through the air like it's free. Free. The word tastes like ash. In 3 hours, Elias will pull into the driveway, his sleek black Audi purring to a stop, and I'll be waiting, kneeling, composed, the perfect sub. But today, the fog feels thicker, laced with something sharper, like the edge of a blade I didn't know was there. Flash back with me, if you can stand the pull. It was summer, that sticky Seattle kind, where the humidity clings like guilt, and we just signed our first contract. Not the fancy leather-bound one we have now, but a Google Doc printed on his office printer, edges curling like my nerves. This is us, Christina, he'd said, his pen scratching my initials, beside clauses on obedience, finances, even meal plans. I was 23 then, still buzzing from the high of our first scene. The one where he blindfolded me in his apartment, his voice a lifeline in the dark, guiding me through ropes that bit just enough to wake every nerve. Safe, sane, consensual. We recited like a mantra, but where was the word for it? The one for when the safe starts feeling like a straitjacket. No safe word ever crossed our lips. It was implied in the aftercare, his arms around me as I floated back to earth, whispering praises that glued the pieces of my scattered mind. Life wove itself around him like ivy on a trellis. His shifts at the hospital stretched like taffy. 16 hours of stitching hearts back together, only to come home and claim mine. The commute was a beast, 2 hours each way on I-5. Traffic a river of red taillights that swallowed him whole. So our time, Precious rationed. Mornings were mine alone, brewing his coffee black as midnight, laying out his scrubs, pressed to perfection. I'd scroll job listings sometimes, half-hearted. My graphic design gigs freelance and flexible, perfect for waiting. But waiting turned to watching, then to wondering. Why didn't I push for a debit card? Why let him handle the meds, the money, like I was a patient on his rounds? It's love, I'd tell myself, echoing his words. You need the structure. And yeah, with autism scripting every interaction, and ADHD firing thoughts like fireworks, it did feel like love, anchored, but anchors can drag you under. Race, it simmered beneath, unspoken but ever present. I'm black in a world that boxes us, fierce, unyielding, or invisible. Elias saw me as his muse, soft and yielding, but mirrors don't lie. My curls tamed into braids he liked. My outfits chosen to accentuate curves he called goddess-like. Past boyfriends, all white, all older. Therapists in hindsight, or saviors. The first, at 20, a professor who praised my exotic fire in poetry slams. The second, a tech exec who gifted collars disguised as necklaces. Patterns toxic and tight. That party whisper, what you get for dating white men. It landed like a slap, because part of me knew they took the chaos and molded it, but at what cost? My strength, siphoned into submission, not hot enough for the hypersexual gaze that devours, not strong enough to shatter it, just. Christina, fog-bound, the clock mocks me. 2 hours gone, 1 to go. I wander upstairs, the stairs creaking like old bones under my bare feet. My room, our room really, waits like a stage set for tragedy. The bed looms, sheets tucked military crisp. A flogger coiled on the nightstand like a sleeping serpent. I trace its leather tails, remembering the first time, the sting blooming into heat, his voice crooning approval as I arched, lost in the rhythm. Fun then, electric, but COVID. That bitch rewrote the script. Lockdown, no escape, our dynamic ballooned. Bratty defiance melted into slavery, protocols stacking like bricks. Permission for showers, meals served on knees, finances funneled through his app. Lena's visit haunts me now, her tea-cold eyes scanning the collar burns on my neck, faint but there. He doesn't mean harm, she'd said, voice a thread, but the deep end, it's cold. I dismissed her, 25 and invincible, but she planted the seed. What if the water's rising? Downstairs again, the kitchen clock chimes. 50 minutes. My stomach twists. Not from nerves alone, but hunger I ignored. Waiting for his command to eat. I snag an apple, biting into it like it's defiance. Juice dripping down my chin. Regret floods sweeter than the fruit. What if I'd scattered seeds instead? Casual flings in my 20s. Bodies without contracts. Laughter without leashes. Or no sex at all. Books. Art. Friends who saw Christina, not the sub, but sex was the hook, always. Relationships built on it, crumbling when the fog cleared. No one wants the fool me, the autistic girl who scripts apologies, the black woman who questions her place in his whitewashed world. Stay, they say, the few who linger, like I'm a pet worth keeping. Friends, ghosts, family, distant. After I stopped calling. Excuses piling like unpaid bills. A car door slams outside. Not his, thank God. The neighbor kid on a bike, whooshing past. I press my palms to my eyes, willing the tears back. 30. The number lands heavy, like a diagnosis. Too late to rewrite. Elias is amazing, kind in crises. His hands steady on a patient's chest, or mine. If I were better, boundaries like steel, mine sharp as his scalpel, we'd thrive. I'd be the partner who challenges, not crumbles. He promised no toxicity when we met. I vowed the same. But that kiss, electric and urgent, snowballed into training by week's end. 2 lovers total, him and the ghost of before. Wasted youth, traded for shivers and blackouts. His body claiming mine until the world spun away, leaving me hollow. 30 minutes, the doorbell again. Package this time. A discreet black box from that online shop. The one with toys we discuss in whispers. I sign for it, hands shaking, imagining what's inside. Something for the weekend, prolonged and punishing in the best worst way. Holiday stretches ahead, 3 days of him, all of him, no shifts to steal him back. We've danced around it, the ring, etched with our initials, waiting in his safe. Soon pet, and family. Off birth control, my body no longer mine in that final way. A child, innocent eyes on our games, tiny hands reaching for chains. No, the fog splits, clarity sharp as glass. I don't want this. Not the dynamic, not the baby in its shadow, but saying it. That's the cliff. I pace, phone reclaimed, thumb on Lena's contact. Dial, it rings. Once, twice, heart in my throat, voicemail. Hey, it's Lena. Leave a life. Click. Deflation hits, then fury. At her, at me. What now? Text Elias. Change of plans. The thought chokes me. His disappointment would be a scalpel to the gut. Instead, I scroll old photos. Us at the beach, me laughing waves away. Free for a stolen hour. Before the slave title, before the finances blurred into his. My salary, 60 grand I think, feels like a joke. No debit, no checks, just his nods for nails, baths. The rituals that keep me pretty for him. Healthy? Sure. Veggies chopped under his eye. Workouts timed to his app. But brain? Mush. Fog eternal. Anchor a no. 20 minutes. A text pings. Traffic light pet. Be good. My reply automatic. Always, sir. Lies. The apple core rolls under the table. Forgotten. Memories surge. That night post-training, curled in his lap, his fingers in my hair. You're mine, he'd breathed, and I'd melted. Love or learned response? The race thing gnaws deeper. Am I the kind of black woman for this? Strong matriarchs in my bloodline or soft surrender? White men, always pulling strings I didn't see. Consent, signed in eagerness, but perspective, lacking. Virgin to sub in days, too fast, fire without forge. 10 minutes, headlights sweep the drive, early. Panic surges, vomit rising again. I drop to knees by the door, collar tight, breath shallow. The key turns, slow as fate. Door opens. Elias, tall, weary, scrubs rumpled. Eyes lighting on me like dawn. My girl, he murmurs. Bag dropping, hand cupping my chin. His touch, electric still, sparks the old fire. But underneath, the scream builds. Tonight, over dinner he'll plan. Candlelit, coded, will I shatter or swallow as always? He kneels, eye level, thumb brushing my lip. You look pale, Christina. Everything all right? His doctor's gaze probes, concern flickering. Lie or leap. The fog thins, just a whisper. What if? His thumb lingers on my lower lip, warm and insistent. A touch that's both anchor and noose. Up close, Elias smells like the hospital. Sterile soap laced with coffee, and the faint metallic tang of stress sweat from a day that probably saved 3 lives before lunch. His eyes, those piercing blue-grey storms, search mine. And for a heartbeat, I teeter on the edge. Spill it all, the vomit and the voids, or fold into the familiar script. I'm fine, sir, I whisper, the words tumbling out like rehearsed lines from a play I hate. He smiles. That doctor's smile, reassuring, the one that fools patients into thinking death's on pause. and pulls me up, his arms snaking around my waist, drawing me into the solid wall of his chest. Good girl, let's get you settled. Settled. As if I'm a storm cloud he can tuck into bed. We move through the house like a well-oiled machine, him shedding his scrubs in the laundry chute with a precision that borders on poetry, me trailing to the kitchen to uncork the wine he favors. Cabernet, deep and brooding, like his moods after a code blue. The cork pops like a suppressed sob, and I pour 2 glasses, the liquid swirling blood red under the pendant lights. Dinner's simple tonight. Grilled salmon he prepped in his meal service, asparagus spears standing at attention on the plate, a lemon wedge curled like a question mark. We eat at the island, him in boxers, and a tea that clings to his runner's build. Me in the silk slip he laid out this morning, emerald, whispering against my thighs with every shift. Rough day? I ask, voice light, probing the waters without diving in. He exhales, fork pausing midair, flecked with flaky pink flesh. The usual carnage, lost a valve replacement, 72, thought we had her. His voice cracks just a hair. The vulnerability he only shares in these quiet hours, and guilt twists in my gut like a knife. He's a hero, stitching souls while I, what? Kneel and not? But you, he says, reaching across to squeeze my hand, his palm calloused from scalpels and steering wheels. Tell me about your designs. The logo for that startup. I nod, spinning a half-truth about color palettes and client notes. My ADHD mind latching onto the distraction like a lifeline. It's easy, this dance. His questions pulling stories from me. Mine coaxing confessions from him. For a moment, the fog lifts, and we're just Elias and Christina, doctor and artist, lovers in a world that doesn't demand collars. But moments shatter. Wine glass midway to my lips, he sets his down with a clink that echoes too loud. The box arrived. His tone shifts, subtle, but I feel it, the velvet over steel. I nod, throat dry despite the Cabernet's warmth. Upstairs, sir. His eyes darken, not with anger, but hunger. The kind that devours weekends whole. Good. After this, we'll open it. Plans for us, pet. Long ones. Holiday weekend yawns ahead. 3 days unpunctuated by pages or traffic, and my pulse stutters. Long. The word hangs, heavy with implication. Sessions that stretch till dawn. My body a map he redraws in bruises and bliss, fading to that exhausted float where thoughts dissolve. In theory, the ultimate connection. In truth, the cage tightens. Bars invisible but ironclad. We finish eating in companionable silence. Plates cleared with mechanical grace. Me rinsing, him loading the dishwasher like it's surgery. His hand finds the small of my back as we ascend. A proprietary touch that once sent sparks skittering. Now, it weighs like expectation. The bedroom door swings open, and there it is. The black box on the dresser, innocuous as a gift from Tiffany's. But we both know better. He lifts the lid with ceremony, tissue rustling like dry leaves, revealing silk ropes, coiled like serpents, and a blindfold of the softest leather, edged in silver thread that catches the lamplight. For trust, he murmurs, holding up the blindfold, his free hand tilting my chin. Deeper this time, you game. My breath hitches. Yes, the old reflex. No, the scream clawing up. But I nod, because good girls do. And he kisses me then, slow and deep, tasting of wine and want, pulling me under like a riptide. Fade to the rhythm we know, his commands low and loving, my responses scripted in sighs. The ropes whisper over skin, binding wrist to headboard, with knots only he unties. The blindfold plunging me into velvet dark, where senses sharpen, his breath hot on my neck, the creak of the bed a metronome to my racing heart. It's intense, always, pushing edges till the world blurs. body arching in that suspended space between pain and release. He takes his time, voice a lifeline. Breathe, pet. Let go. And I do, tumbling into the void where autism quiets and ADHD stills, anchored utterly. But tonight, as the peak crests and crashes, something fractures. Not bliss, but a sob I swallow, tasting salt in the afterglow. He unties me gentle, as always, drawing me into his chest, our sweat-slick skin sticking like pages in a damp book. Aftercare, his fingers combing my braids, murmurs of praise washing over me like balm. Perfect Christina, my everything. The fog returns, softer now, but laced with clarity's poison. In his arms, I trace the veins on his forearm. Steady, surgeon's lines. And the words bubble up, unbidden. Elias, about the baby. He stiffens, just a fraction. Propping on elbow to study me. Lamplight carving shadows across his face. What about it? His voice is neutral, but I hear the undercurrent. Hope, caution. The doctor's diagnostic mode kicking in. I sit up, sheet pooling at my waist, the collar cool against fevered skin. I'm scared. Honesty, raw and rare, spills like wine on white carpet. Not just the change, the US, bringing a kid into this. I gesture vaguely. Ropes on the floor, blindfold discarded like a shed skin. His brow furrows, hand reaching to cup my face. This, our life, it's us, pet. Structured, safe. Safe. The word mocks. Echoing Lena's warning, the party whisper. My own buried doubts. But what if it's not? For a child. The roles. The everything. Tension coils. Visible now. His jaw tightening like a fist. We've talked contracts for that too. Family protocols. It'll be beautiful. Beautiful. The lie burns. I pull away, knees to chest, the sheet a flimsy shield. Memories crash. That week of firsts, virgin blood on sheets, and vows inked hasty. COVID's isolation twisting, played a prison, no safe word. Why, when surrender felt like salvation. But now, at 30, with rings and rings of Saturn's weight, it chokes. Elias, listen, I regret so much. The words hang, a guillotine blade, his eyes widen, shock, then hurt, raw as an open incision. Regret? Us? He sits up fully, voice dropping to that dom timbre, edged with plea. Talk to me, Christina. What's really going on? The floodgates crack. Race first, because it's the splinter I can't ignore. I'm Black Elias. In your world, white coats, white rules. All my lovers, white, older, like I'm a project. And this dynamic, it fits because I'm broken. Autism, ADHD. I need the scripts, but they've scripted me out of me. Tears track hot, unheeded. He reaches, but I flinch. First time ever. You're not broken. You're mine. Possessive, not comforting. I shake my head. Words tumbling faster. Finances. The Cash App cage. Meds, doled like dog treats. Youth sold in scenes that left me hollow. I was a virgin Elias. Week 1 sub. No pauses. No. Safe words. It was fun. Can't be even, but fast. Too fast. And now, a kid in slavery. The word lands like a slap. Slave, not sub. The title COVID forged in fevered nights. He recoils, face paling under the stubble. Slavery? Is that what you think? Hurt blooms, real and ragged, his hand raking hair. I thought it was love. Structure for you, for us. Love. The anchor drags, pulling me under, but in the wreckage, curiosity flickers. What if it's not? What if Lena was right? The deep end's cold, and I'm blue-lipped. The clock on the nightstand blinks 11:47, holiday eve ticking toward midnight. Tension hums, Electric as pre-storm air, he leans in, voice cracking. We can adjust. Therapy, boundaries. But leaving? Christina, who else would understand you like I do? The question pierces. Who else? Friends gone. Family faded. The world a blur of white men and wrong fits. But in the mirror across the room, I catch my reflection. Eyes fierce, for once. Not hot enough, not strong. Lies. The fog thins further. Revelation whispering. Maybe the waste was waiting, not wasting. His hand hovers, waiting for my cue. Sub or self. The weekend stretches. A battlefield now, not boudoir. Do I fold or fight? The sob escapes, and with it, the truth. I don't know if I want this anymore. Any of it. Silence crashes, heavier than any command. His face crumples. Doctor defeated. And in that fracture, the turning point glimmers, sharp as shattered glass. What breaks next? The silence stretches, taut as a wire between us, humming with the ghosts of every unspoken safe word. Every contract clause we bent, but never broke. Elias's face, usually so composed, a mask forged in OR lights and patient pleas, crumbles like dry earth under rain. His eyes, those surgeon's eyes that have peered into beating hearts and found the rhythm to mend them, now glisten with a confusion that mirrors my own fractured reflection. Any more? He echoes. The words barely a breath, as if saying them louder might make them real. He shifts on the bed, the mattress dipping under his weight, pulling the sheet taut between us like a boundary line drawn in sand. I nod, slow, the motion feeling like the first step off a cliff. Terrifying, inevitable. The collar at my throat suddenly itches. Not from the silk slips rub, but from the weight of years, and my fingers twitch toward it, hovering, but not touching. What if I unclasped it now? What if that click was the sound of freedom, or just the prelude to free fall? Tell me, he presses, voice threading the line between dom and desperate lover, his hand inching across the sheet toward mine, but stopping short, as if afraid I'll shatter. From the beginning, no filters, Christina, just us. Us. The word used to be a sanctuary. Now it's a question mark curled in my chest. I draw a breath, ragged, tasting the salt of tears, and the faint lavender from the aftercare lotion he rubbed into my skin earlier. Gentle circles that now feel like erasures. And I talk, not in whispers or scripted confessions, but a torrent, words spilling like the vomit from this afternoon, raw and unrelenting. I start with the hook, the girl at 20, lost in the kaleidoscope of undiagnosed chaos, autism masking as shyness, ADHD as daydreams. I needed anchors, Elias, rules to quiet the noise. You were the first one who saw that, who offered ropes instead of riddles. He nods, jaw tight, but I see the flicker, pride warring with pain, then the escalation. That week of firsts, the kiss that ignited like a match to dry tinder, training sessions in his apartment, where laughter mingled with gasps, my body unfolding under his guidance like a secret garden gate swung wide. It was fun, I admit, voice cracking on the memory. Campy even, the protocols, like playing house with higher stakes. Virgin to sub felt right, like skipping the awkward parts of normal. His fingers finally bridged the gap, lacing with mine, but I don't pull away. Not yet. COVID crashes in next. The pandemic a villain in our love story. Locking doors and loosening leashes. Brat to slave, I say, the title bitter on my tongue. Isolation turned play to everything. Finances, meds. Even my breaths felt owned. No safe words. Why would we? It was consent, all of it, but perspective. I was 24, Elias, a kid in kink clothes. He winces, squeezing my hand, murmuring, I thought you wanted deeper, the structure you craved, deeper. The word echoes, pulling me under again, but I surface fighting. Race weaves in, unavoidable as the mahogany of my skin against his pale sheets. All of them, white, older, you included, like I'm the exotic fix for your structured world. That party, what you get for dating white men. It stung then, stings now. Am I the black girl who fits because I fold? Not fierce enough for the world outside. Not strong enough to stand tall in this one. His grip tightens, not possessive, but pleading. Christina, you're fire, my fire. Race never factored. It's you I see. Lies or love. The line blurs, but I press on. The fog parting like storm clouds. The fog of dependency. The Cash App card, a joke of autonomy. Paychecks ghosts I never chase. I don't know my bi-weekly take-home, Elias. Annual? Sure, but the details. You handle them, like I'm incapable. Shame colors his cheeks. A rare flush on the unflappable doctor. To protect you. From the overwhelm, protect. The irony bites, sharp as the flogger's memory. And the sex. God, the sex. I falter here, cheeks heating, but push through, keeping it veiled. Implied in the shivers and shadows. Stolen weekends. You claiming till I black out, then gone to the grind. Sounds hot, right? Intense connection. But it's stress, Elias. Vomiting nerves every time, losing my mind in the wait. And now, kids, off the pill, ring on deck. A family in this fog. No, I see it clear. A child watching roles that bind me. Inheriting chains I can't name. Tears stream now, unchecked. And he gathers me close, despite the storm. His chest rumbling with a sob of his own. I never saw it that way. Christ, pet. Christina, I thought we were building. Therapy? We can do couples. Kink aware. Boundaries, safe words, retroactive. Just. Don't leave. Leave. The word dangles. Seductive and savage. Who else? The question loops. A noose of doubt. Friends evaporated like mist. Uncomfortable with my choices. Or me. Family. A phone number I scroll past. Explanations too tangled to text. 30 feels like a tombstone. Youth barded in blackouts and blindfolds. If I were better, I whisper into his shoulder. His shirt damp with our shared salt. Boundaries like yours. Mine sharp. We'd work. You'd be the dom I deserve. Not the one patching my brakes. He pulls back. Eyes fierce now. Not with command, but conviction. You're enough. Always were. We rushed. My fault. Pushing the deep end, because I needed the anchor too. Long hours, saving strangers. Coming home to you. It's what keeps me whole. The admission hangs. A twist in the tale I didn't script. Elias, the rock. Cracking to reveal his own veins of vulnerability. Not just dom, but man adrift in scrubs. Commuting through isolation, pouring control into us because the OR offers none. Goosebumps prickle my arms, not from chill, but the raw thrill of mutuality, two fogs mingling, instead of one devouring the other. But the weekend looms, holiday hours ticking like a bomb. Tomorrow's barbecue, invites ignored, trails unwalked. Life paused for our private ritual. What now? Forgive and fold, or fracture and flee. His phone buzzes on the nightstand. Hospital, always the third wheel, and he ignores it. A first, his focus laser on me. Let's rewrite, he says. Voice steady as a heartbeat monitor. Start small. Your card, debit tomorrow. Meds, your call. And us? Pause the dynamic. Just Elias and Christina. Weekend warriors. At the farmer's market. No collars. Pause. The word glimmers. A lifeline tossed into churning waters. I search his face. The lines etched by late nights and lost patience. The love that's real, if warped. But regret's tide pulls hard. Wasted 20s. Patterns toxic. as the exes before. The black woman boxed by choices not wholly hers. Consent was there, eager and inked, but informed. Hindsight's cruel lens says no. And the child, phantom now, but pressing. What about the baby talk? I ask, voice small. He exhales long and low. On hold, till we're solid. No rush. Relief floods, sweet as unclaimed air, but laced with the thriller's edge. Is this salvation or stall? The clock strikes 1, moonlight slanting through blinds like silver bars, casting us in chiaroscuro, lovers or litigants. We talk till dawn creeps, words weaving a fragile bridge. Lena's number exchanged for his blessing to call. Therapy apps downloaded in tandem. My first bi-weekly check pulled up on his laptop. $2,300 after taxes. A number that grounds like feet on firm earth. Laughter bubbles. Tentative. Remembering that campy slave auction scene from year 2. Costumes ridiculous. Us giggling post-rope. But undercurrent thrums. The twist. Unpredictable as a code blue. As sleep tugs. His arms around me loose. Not locking, I whisper. What if it's too late? For me, outside this. He kisses my forehead, breath warm. Then we learn together. Or, you fly solo. I'll cheer from the bleachers. Solo. The word terrifies, thrills. Fog lingers, but thinner, pierced by dawn's light. Morning breaks golden. Holiday sun filtering through leaves like confetti. Coffee brews sans command, my hands steady on the mug. Elias emerges, tousled and tender, pulling me into a hug that's equal. No kneel required. Mark it, he asks. Grin boyish. I nod, heart pounding. Not with nerves, but nascent hope. But as we step out, keys in my hand for once. His car, my drive. The phone rings. Hospital. His face falls. Pager insistent. Go, I say, surprising us both. Save them. I'll explore. Alone. The word echoes as he drives off. Taillights fading. Market stalls burst with color. Apples crimson as my polish. Vendors calling in rhythms that sync my pulse. A black woman at the flower stand. Curls wild. Eyes knowing. First time solo. Girl, own it. Her wink sparks something. Strength. Buried but breathing. Back home. Lena's text pings. Heard. Coffee. Neutral ground. The invitation dangles. A fork in the road. Elias returns at dusk. Weary but whole. Dinner shared sans protocols. Takeout Thai. Spicy and shared bites. Good day. He asks. No titles. Reclaiming, I reply and mean it. Night falls gentle, bodies entwined without edges pushed. Whispers of tomorrows untethered, but in the quiet, the moral murmurs. Surrender's sweet, but self's the truest anchor. Regret, not waste, but wisdom forged in fire. At 30, not too late, just late enough to burn bright, the weekend unfolds. Not in shivers, but steps. A hike where I lead, laughter echoing free. A call to family, voices warm with welcome. Elias watches, learning my pace, the dom yielding to partner. And the ring, tucked away, gathering dust with the ropes. Pausing, not perishing, but the thriller lingers. What if the fog returns? What if solo means solitary? The questions hook, curiosity's thread pulling ever onward. Sunday dawns with a deceptive softness, the kind of light that filters through half-drawn curtains and paints the room in hues of forgiveness. Pale gold on the rumpled sheets, Elias's arm draped loose across my waist. Not a claim, but a companionable weight. I wake first, the way I always do when the fog is thin. My mind a quiet hum instead of the usual cacophony. No commands waiting like tripwires. Just the distant hum of the coffee maker I set on timer last night. a small rebellion that feels like revolution. I slip from bed, bare feet whispering over the rug, and pause at the dresser. The collar sits there, unclasped since our midnight unburdening. Its silver links dull in the morning glow. I don't touch it, don't need to. Instead, I pull on jeans and a tee, mine from the back of the closet, faded cotton that smells like forgotten independence, and head downstairs. The house feels different today. Walls breathing easier. The kitchen island no longer an altar, but just a slab of marble for 2 mugs. Elias finds me there, hair tousled like a boy's, eyes bleary but bright as he leans in the doorway, arms crossed casual, no scrubs, no pager clipped like a badge of duty, just him, in sweats that hang low on his hips. A man stripped of titles. "Morning, Christina," he says, voice rough with sleep and something softer, tentative. No pet, no undercurrent of command. I slide a mug his way, steam, curling like question marks. "Morning, sleep okay?" We sip in sync. The silence comfortable now, not charged. He nods, leaning on the counter, close enough for warmth, but not crowding. Better than in months. You? Honesty's our new protocol, raw and unscripted. Like I could breathe, I admit, and his smile quirks. Relieved? Real. We talk logistics over toast, butter knife scraping like punctuation, the debit card application pulled up on his phone. My fingers tapping in details with a steadiness that surprises us both. "Live one," he says, watching. "Your world now." My world. The phrase lands light, a feather instead of fetter. The day unfolds like a map unfolding. Paths we choose together, but not dictated. We hike the trail behind the house. Evergreens towering, like silent witnesses. Needles crunching under our sneakers in a rhythm that's ours. Not choreographed. I lead, for the first time in forever, picking the fork toward the overlook, where the sound glimmers like shattered sapphire below. Wind tugs my braids, wild and free, and Elias matches my pace. His hand brushing mine, accidental on purpose. "Remember our first walk?" he asks, voice carrying over the rustle of leaves. I do. Year 1, leashed subtle by his grip, protocols pacing every step. "Yeah," I laugh, breathy. "You timed my strides." He chuckles, rueful. "Idiot move. Thought it was control. Was just fear." Fear of losing the anchor, of the chaos beyond our bubble. The revelation settles, not as blame, but bridge. His long hours of void he filled with us. My fog of hunger he fed with structure. Mutually marooned, we'd mistaken the lifeboat for the ocean. At the overlook, we perch on a weathered log, legs dangling over the edge. The drop a thrill without terror. Below, berries slice white wakes. Tiny lives ferrying toward unknowns. Lena texted. I say, casual as the breeze. "Coffee tomorrow. You okay?" His nod comes quick. No shadow. More than. She gets it. Saw the patterns before we did. Patterns. The rush from kiss to collar. COVID's cruel accelerator. The white knight complex that drew him to my exotic edges. Race lingers. In the air. Unspoken but aired last night. His apologies earnest. "I saw you, Christina, but through my lens. Let's shatter it." Shatter. The word thrills, promising mosaics from breakage. We sit till hunger pulls us back. Picnics scavenged from the fridge. Cheese and grapes spread on a blanket in the yard. Neighbors' laughter a distant chorus. No isolation. Today, the world intrudes gentle, reminding us it's there. Afternoon brings the call. Family. My sister's number lighting the screen like a flare. Elias nods encouragement, stepping out to the porch swing while I answer. Voice wobbling at first. Chris, that you girl? Been too long. Mum's voice in the background. Warm scold about vanishing acts. I spill fragments, not the deep cuts, but edges, changes, growth, a man who's learning to share the wheel. Laughter flows, tentative then torrent. Inside jokes about my old clumsiness. ADHD-fueled art projects that ended in glitter explosions. Come home soon, Sis says. We miss the real you. The real me. Hanging up, tears prick. Not regrets salt, but releases. Elias returns, arms open, and I step into them equal. No kneel. Proud of you, he murmurs, and means it. Dusk paints, the sky bruised purple. Holiday winding down with takeout on the couch. Pizza, grease-dripping slices shared from the box. A rom-com flickering on screen we mock in whispers. His head on my shoulder, my fingers in his hair. Reversed roles, playful inversion, but under the levity, the lesson simmers. Ironic and etched. Surrenders not chains if chosen, but self's the forge that tempers it. I'd sold youth to shadows, bartered autonomy for anchors, but in the trading, I'd mined gold, resilience, buried deep. 30 isn't too late. It's the forge fire age, where regrets refine into resolve. Elias pauses the movie midway, turning serious. The ring, keep it paused. I nod but add. And the dynamic, not gone but guest star, when we're both all in. Agreement seals with a kiss, soft as promise, no edges blurred. Night falls, bodies entwining lazy, exploration sans extremes. Hands mapping familiar terrain with new eyes, whispers trading dreams deferred. My gallery show, his sabbatical to write that memoir on hearts mended and broken. Sleep claims us tangled but untethered. The collar forgotten on the dresser, like a relic from another life. Monday looms. Here's commute, my designs, but lighter, laced with texts planned. Check your balance. From him, a wink emoji from me. The fog lingers, but is missed, not monsoon. Parted by steps taken, truths told. In the quiet before dawn, as his breath evens beside me, inspiration stirs. This is an end, but ellipsis. The wasted years, not waste, but workshop. Hammering the girl who vomited fears into the woman who voices them. BDSM's not villain. Haste was, perspective's absence. And love? It thrives when anchors evolve to allies. The moral, hidden like a twist in fog. Sometimes, the deepest submission is to self, yielding to growth, not giving away the reins. Goosebumps, rise, not from chill, but the thrill of tomorrow's blank page, scripted by me. If you were in this situation, tangled in loves that bind too tight, regrets whispering like wind through chains, what would you do? Would you unclip the collar or rewrite the contract? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one, and if this story gripped you, hit subscribe for more raw, real tales that pull no punches. Your journey's waiting. Let's walk it together.